everyone, and welcome to The Good Life for Nebraska Seniors. This is our very first show, and I just want to thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Donna Blum. I'm the host of the show, and today I have the great pleasure of inviting my dear friend, Bill Black, to the show. Bill is a longtime realtor in the Omaha metro area. He hangs his license with MP Dodge, and he is the head of the Bill Black team. So I just want to welcome you, Bill.
Donna, thank you. This is very, very exciting. When you told me what you were going to do, I thought, oh, what an amazing opportunity to help serve the public. So congratulations. This is going to be a fun ride.
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking forward to talking with lots of folks. Really, the idea behind the show is to provide value to the community, specifically the senior community.
Yes.
Lots of decisions to make in these years, lots of changes and challenges, but really the goal for this show is to provide helpful information. I'm referring to my notes. Helpful information,
Yep.
trusted resources, and
Right.
uplifting conversations. And I know that that's what we're going to have here today.
Right.
But we really want to help you out there watching the show to live a happy, healthy, and fulfilling life during your golden years. So we're actually here today to talk about rightsizing.
Yes.
And rightsizing is one of those words that can mean different things to different people. So it might be helpful to just kind of level set and explain. Why don't you tell us what your definition is?
In the old days, we used to call it downsizing, but we have found that the seniors now are in a much better position, both financially and health-wise, and they want to age in place. But we ran into this yesterday where the son and daughter-in-law with 5 kids are moving to Omaha, and he said, hey, my in-laws might want to follow us here because now they're retired and they want to spend time with the family. So we're seeing a right sizing of what does that look like. Well, they also have a child in North Carolina that has 3 kids. So they want to sell their house in Utah, move to Omaha, have a villa here, and then have a second home in South Carolina. So when we evaluate where people are going, we want to understand what the picture is. And is it aging in place? Is it a different type of lifestyle that they're looking for? What is it that they want? And so we sit down with the people and we go through all of that with them and help them to right size. And sometimes it's not downsizing. I've had people actually get a bigger house because the kids have gone off, got married. Now they have a bunch of kids and they want to have Christmas still at home. So they get a bigger house.
Yeah. So basically it's about finding a property, or maybe even staying in their current property, but it's the right property to fit their current lifestyle.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. I think another thing that I think of when I think of right sizing, it is about deciding what's going to make most sense, not just for them, but for their family and for the future. So
That's right.
A lot of times, perhaps, unfortunately, when we get into the golden years, we might start to have some health issues. And so really sort of, I think, being forward thinking about what is going to be needed in the years ahead.
Correct.
You don't really want to necessarily make that decision at a time of crisis.
That's right. That's right. We see people who, unfortunately, maybe let's take dementia. They start having memory issues, and all of a sudden, there's a situation where they're being forced to make decisions. And I've got a saying that once what is a blessing becomes a curse, and we don't want to get to that point where it becomes a curse or an anchor around your neck. We want the family to be able to make a good decision while everybody's healthy. And then when things start to slide, either be it the health or mental capacity or something of that nature, you've already got a roadmap on where you're going to go.
Yeah, I think that's good. Just to be proactive, to have that plan.
Yeah,
it removes a lot of the stress too. Right?
Oh my, does it ever? Yeah. And the worst thing you don't want to see happen is fracturing of the family. Unfortunately, we see that not often, But when it comes to money, inheritance, things of that nature, even disagreements on how to be a medical advocate for your parents, there's quarrels and disagreements, and if you can agree to a path while the parents are healthy, it makes life a whole lot easier.
Let's talk about that a little bit. You've probably worked with many families that have
Yes.
been in this situation. You've probably have seen some situations that have gone really well, and
Yes.
some perhaps that have been somewhat of a train wreck.
Yeah, it tears apart families.
So my next question for you is that, many seniors, they feel overwhelmed by the idea of moving at this age. I mean, they can't do the packing. They
Right.
can't, there's just a lot that
Right,
they're maybe
right.
not able to do, and the whole idea of it, a lifetime of possessions and all the memories. They raise their children in that home. It just, it's a very big emotional decision, and there's a lot of practical changes that they're going to face. So, what kinds of advice do you have for them when they are first considering, should I make a move? Shouldn't I make a move? What things would you recommend that they think about considering?
This stage of life, when you're dealing with that, we see a lot of procrastination. The two areas that you hit on is, what do I do with all this stuff?
Yeah.
And we've all got it. And if you're having a hard time with that, hire somebody. There's people out there, they're not going to judge you. You walk in and you open a bedroom door and the kids have been gone for 20 years, but the bedroom's still full of stuff. How do you go through that? Because like you said, of all the memories, I can't get rid of this. Well, the kids don't want it, so why do you want to hang on to it? And so sometimes it helps to get that professional organizer in there, that entity that will help you sell the things that are in there. And that's the other thing, is we get people who say, well, I spent good money for that stereo system. Nobody wants it anymore. And so what do you do with that? Well, it becomes mental gymnastics for you. And so you need the professional help to get in there. And sometimes it even takes some counseling.
Yeah, I actually was a professional organizer in a former life.
Oh, yeah.
And working with a lot of clients who had, I almost felt like I needed a counseling degree, to be honest with you, because people had emotional attachment to their inanimate objects. Maybe they grew up in a time of the Depression when they had nothing, and so they feel like they can't let go of anything. There's always this fear that if they get rid of that item, that they're going to need it again, and then they'll have to spend money to replace it.
Or that table and chairs that's sitting in the dining room, that was my great aunts who came from Germany, and it's like, nobody cares anymore. So take a picture of it, put it in an album somewhere, or put it online where you've got the memories, and get rid of it.
Right.
You've got to get rid of it. Everybody that I've worked with that has gone through this journey, and we just had one just the other day, she goes, it was so freeing. Oh, yeah. It was so hard to do, but it's so freeing. And that's where we want to get to, is make life at the end of life a lot more enjoyable.
Yes, less mess, less stress, right?
And the other thing is, me personally, I don't want to burden my kids.
Right.
It's such a hard thing to go through that, but then to burden my kids with it, I'm adding stress to their lives, to their spouses' lives, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I have a personal story there too. My folks had an acreage out in Washington County, and my dad, he loved working in the garage. That was his domain. Like, the house was Mom's, but the garage, he built one of those huge outbuildings. Yes. And he filled it to the rafters with any kind of thing, anything that he came across that he thought might have some value. He would, and it was it was free, or it was at a good price. He would grab onto it. And so there was industrial lights and it's tools galore. But when he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, they recognized that they needed to sort of get ahead of it. And so they made the decision that they were going to right size, and everything in that barn had to go. So it was a big project to get it all ready. We had a massive sale, but it was so good that they did that when they did.
Right.
Yeah.
And in that situation, don't, as a family member, go in there and say, oh, we're just going to start throwing stuff away, get a big dumpster and dump it. Get the professionals in there, that either the auctioneers or the estate salespeople, get them in there to evaluate what's in there, because what looks like junk to you that you're going to throw away, it may be worth several $100s. We had an estate situation where a couple, the family had very limited amount of time to get rid of all the stuff in there, and so the kids all decide to come in from out of town. They're helping mom and dad go through it, and the estate people that we had hired, he said, tell them not to throw anything away. Well, they had a bunch of stuff out at the curb waiting for a guy to come pick up for the trash, and as soon as the guy showed up for the estate sale, he started going through there, and he's pulling things out right and left. And I remember specifically, there was a wicker desk that was painted pink, and it was missing a drawer, and they were going to throw it away. He pulled it off. They got $500 for that thing.
Wow.
And so, you know, it was sitting at the curb getting ready to be thrown away. Rely on the professionals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and it's true. One person's trash is another
That's
person's
right.
treasure,
That's
right?
That's
Yeah,
right.
you never know what somebody's looking for.
Yep.
There might be some, you know, nostalgia.
Oh,
That
my.
it's valuable to them.
That's correct.
So,
Yeah.
So this is, I think, a really important question. When is the right time to start thinking about right sizing? Are there signs of life moments that are often a signal that it might be time to explore a change?
Oh, you know, they say that 70 is the new 50, and we're seeing people staying healthier longer, being more mobile, having better accessibility to travel and things of that nature. And I would say whenever you're thinking about starting to retire, that's a good time to do it. But definitely by the time you're in your late 50s, early 60s, I think is a prime time to really start looking at it. I don't think any time's too soon. You could even do it in your 40s if you wanted to plan that far ahead. But definitely by the time you're, you know, starting to hit that 60, 62, 3 range.
You know, and as I'm listening to you, we by the way, are both in the senior category.
Yep.
So these are decisions that we are.
I look at, you don't.
Thank you for that. And I disagree, by the way. But I think that at this stage, you do want to not just have a plan, but I think also, you know, right sizing actually can free up more time in your life. If you find a place where you don't have to mow the lawn anymore and take care of the, you know, shoveling the walk, and you have maybe more time to travel.
That's right.
And, you know, and maybe you're moving into, you know, if you don't need a care facility, but you're looking more for independent living.
That's right.
The social aspects available
Oh,
are amazing. So there are a lot of people that make this transition and their lifestyles just improve drastically.
What we find is really encouraging and helpful is when a person is in their home by themselves, they have a tendency to become a hermit, and all of a sudden their whole day is nothing but watching TV or just doing nothing, and they start getting depressed. They start gaining weight. They become immobile, things of that nature. But we put the house up for sale, and then they move into a senior community, and oh my word, they've got friends, they've got activities, they've got people that come in and take care of their hair and do their nails and so on and so forth. And all of a sudden they're rejuvenated again. They said, wow, this is exciting again, because a lot of those people are in the same age category, and they went through the exact same thing, you know, same school age, you know, whatever may have happened during that time of life. And so they have a new community that they are just excited about.
Yeah, I think that's great. Opens up lots of doors for them to stay connected, and to, you know, there could be fitness classes, and you know, they may have people come in and talk to them about nutrition, and I think it can open up the doors to have a much more healthy lifestyle than, like you said, sitting in your home all day long alone watching television.
Yeah, we got my parents into a 15 over community, and my mom was extremely outgoing, and she went to every activity that was offered there. My dad was more reclusive, and he just liked staying in a room reading and that, but occasionally he would go out and he loved to play bridge, and they would go and play bridge every Wednesday. And so those communities have a lot to offer everybody. But another key factor for those communities is also their dietary. They've got dietitians there, they've got people who are holding them accountable, because when you're by yourself, all of a sudden you're not eating as well, and you just don't have the drive or the desire. And then the other one is medication. As we get older, we start getting on certain medications, and there's people there holding them accountable. Are you taking your medicine on time?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know that you've helped many seniors through this transition in their lives.
Very much, yeah.
Can you share a story where rightsizing truly improved someone's quality of life? That's kind of what we're talking about here. What changed for them?
The one that I'm thinking of immediately, as you said that, is they always wanted to go travel, but they felt anchored to their home because they had a large acreage and they were always mowing and taking care of it. And as soon as they got rid of it, all of a sudden they've got free time, and they hired the mowing done. They hired the snow is being removed, and they found it so enjoyable that they ended up buying a second home down in Florida.
Oh, wow.
And so where they used to be homebodies here in town, now they're traveling, and they found a whole new community down in Florida that they love being in during the winter.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I want to do that too.
Yeah. I'm there with you. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Nebraska. I love the people here, but you know, it'd be nice to go someplace warm during winter months.
Speaking of that, can we talk about one subject that is on everybody's mind in the state of Nebraska, and it's property taxes.
Okay.
Property taxes are forcing seniors out of their houses, unfortunately. And we just had a situation where somebody called me up and said, I need to sell my house. And I said, why? And she goes, I can't afford it anymore. And we sat down and we took a look at her house, and her house was really set up quite nicely. And so she's got a walkout basement, and we were able to put a washer and dryer connection down in her basement. And then she started renting her basement out to traveling nurses. And all of a sudden she's got an extra $1,200 a month coming in, and that's allowing her to stay in a house that she dearly loves. A second situation is with the property taxes. Property taxes are getting so high that, again, they feel because of budgetary reasons they can't afford their house anymore. In the state of Nebraska, there's a thing called homestead exemption, and you can apply for it up until June 30th of each year. And there's certain restrictions. You've got to be 65 or older. There's an income limit. If you're a veteran, if you're disabled partially or fully disabled, you can get either partial exemption or full exemption from your property taxes.
Wow.
So that allows people to stay in their houses quite a bit longer. But if it's getting to that point, to me, that's a little bit of a red flag saying, we need to reevaluate how you're living, and is this the best place for you? So, but there are some options, and we're not out there saying as soon as you call us, we want to put a for sale sign in the front yard. We want to counsel you through the process and see if it is truly the right time to do it.
Yeah, that's good. So if somebody wanted to learn more about this homestead exemption, where would they go?
Call the county assessor in the county that you're in, and they've got a form, I think it's 458, and they'll help you fill that form out.
Okay.
Or you can go to the county website as well.
Okay, yeah, I mean, good to know. If there's any way that you can save those property taxes, it's worth looking into, right?
My. If it can save you some money, we're all about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so this is somewhat of a negative question, and maybe we can spin it as a very positive answer.
Yeah.
But, you know, what are some common mistakes that you've seen seniors or their families make during this process, and how can they avoid them? How can they avoid the pitfalls?
You know, the train wreck that is just a heartache for me is when family members can't agree, and we have seen that. I had a family. There were 3 kids in the family, and the kids all agreed, but all of a sudden the sister-in-law steps in and says, "Well, I don't agree with," and all of a sudden it became a bomb. And so you have to agree up front who's going to be the decision makers in the family. And if the parents can do that while they're healthy, all the better. You want to have a medical advocate, somebody who's going to be your representative when you go into the hospital and things of that nature. For instance, my daughter's a nurse, and so she is my medical advocate. I trust her implicitly. I know she'll do the right thing for me. She understands doctors and nurses and the whole medical situation. So if you don't have somebody like that in your life, try to find somebody in your life that will be a good medical advocate for you. On the other side of it, there's the financial side of it. And that's the portion that really tears people apart, families apart. And so if you can get a trust, people say a will, I say a trust. Get a trust set up ahead of time. Know what's going to happen with the estate and how you're going to liquidate the estate when, upon your demise, or in a situation where I'm not an attorney, I'm not a financial planner. One of your other guests can deal with this, but if you have a certain amount of assets, you want to protect those assets. If you go into a nursing home or you go into some kind of a care facility, they can attach that, and I think the look back is 5 years. So if you've been giving your assets away to your kids and they find out about that, they can go back 5 years and say, I want that money because we're taking care of your parents. Well, if you have elder care insurance or if you have a trust set up, you may be able to avoid some of those things. And so it's a tricky area. And so you definitely want to get somebody that understands the probate and wills. And you also want to consult with an elder care attorney who understands Medicare, Medicaid, and everything that's going on there as well.
Yeah, that's important to seek wise counsel, right?
Yes, very much so.
Something I might add to that too is, and this is near and dear to my heart, it really is a family decision. So the senior, if they are still of sound mind,
right.
It is their property, it is their life.
That's right.
They should feel empowered
That's right.
to make this decision. They should be heard,
right.
and their opinion should be valued. So everybody has an opportunity to kind of sit down and very calmly share their perspective and reach an agreement on what everybody thinks will be best. But we don't want the adult children to come in and say, nope, you have to go into a facility.
One of the genius things I saw one time, and I'm really tempted to do it in my own situation as well, is they put in their will that if there's a disagreement amongst the children over the disposal of the assets, all of the assets get sold. And I think there were 5 different nonprofits that all the money went to. And
you better get along.
That's good. That's good. I like that.
Figure it out. Work together.
Yeah, that's right.
So just to kind of wrap this up, for someone that's watching today and they feel stuck or unsure about where to begin, do you have 1 or 2 suggestions that they can take to get started on their right-sizing journey with confidence? Yeah,
probably the number one area would be the decluttering side of it. When I go into a property and I look around and they're saying, what's the value of my property? When people walk into a house and you're getting ready to sell it and they see all of the clutter and all the stuff, all of a sudden the value goes down. And people want to see their stuff in the house. And get good, trusted advisors that aren't there just to be excited about making a lot of money off of you for selling a property. Get people in there that's going to help you maximize the rate of return on your investment instead. And I'll use it for instance. We walked into one house and they had literally the old 60s shag rug carpeting, but underneath were beautiful oak wood floors. And we said, you know what, get rid of some of the stuff in here. We will stage the property for you. We're going to pull that carpet up and we're going to expose the beautiful wood floors. And the people that walked in there, they just fell in love with that house because of the wood floors. So there's rely on your trusted advisors. Yeah, and that's the key, is get people you can trust.
That's right. Yeah. People who aren't just in it to make a buck.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
That's right.
Yep, exactly.
Well, Bill, I just want to thank you so much for your time today and all of your words of wisdom that you're sharing with the audience. And I want to thank everybody for watching today. Be sure to tune in again. Bye.